Hi guys, I wanted to bring a little video to you this evening. It's not going to be a presentation, it's just going to be a little chat about looking after yourself online. So whether you're facilitating classes, workshops, or you're getting involved in new groups and hobbies, it's always good to have a think about what kind of decisions you're going to need to make while you're online and what controls you need to use. So when you're hosting a meeting, first of all, we need to decide if our camera's on or off. We need to know our controls. We need to set our boundaries. So what's acceptable in our class? And we need to think about our safety and the safety of the people who are with us. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing and I'm just going to have a chat for now. So I'm here with you this evening on the sofa. The reason why this is significant is because at the moment, especially when we are hosting classes, workshops, or we're joining new groups online, we're inviting people into our home. And, our homes, the way we set up our homes is so that we have somewhere to go where we feel safe and we feel secure, or we have a space, so from where we can relax. And when you're broadcasting from that space online, if somebody comes into your class or somebody comes into your workshop and they do something which is completely unacceptable, then you experience that in your virtual studio, but you also experience it in your home. So we really need to kind of just think. I'll tell you what prompted me to do this presentation. No, not presentation, video. What prompted me is two experiences that I've had in the last 2 weeks. And I'm going to tell you about them. I'm not going to tell you names and locations, but I am going to tell you about what happened, because I think they were two different situations. So a similar kind of behavior, potentially, but the reasoning behind it or the motivation, I'd say, was quite different. But I don't know that. All I know is how it affected me. So, okay, let's start at the beginning. So as a fitness instructor, so I'm a lifestyle coach and a fitness instructor, and I think on both sides it is really important that people who are thinking of working with me have access to see what I'm about, what I'm like as a person, because essentially when we decide to work together, we'll have a consultation and it's about you thinking about whether I'm suitable for you. And it's not, a case of do I like you, don't I like you? It might be a case of this person's got the right tone and the right energy, whereas this person is on a different kind of energy level and it's not what I'm looking for. And that's the case in life, but I think, so there is a decision that we both make. But I think it's important for me to kind of, have some interaction with people and let them be able to come to my studio and have a dance or do some exercises. And I'll do that for free. I'll do, say, a 30 or 40-minute class for free. And I do that because that's giving them that opportunity. And what I'll do is I'll run for maybe 4 weekends. So it's a whole month of my time. So what it involves for me to organise those classes is that I need to make a playlist. Then I need to choreograph to that playlist. So I need to choreograph aerobics moves, exercises. I need to think about taking certain levels up. I need to think about taking them down again into a safe cool down. So it's not like I just turn on my camera and say, hey guys, let's jump around. Let's do this. I don't have, and also I'm not, if you come to my class, I don't put on the same playlist every week and do the same dances and the same exercises. I'll choose some core so that we can, I think it's really important, because if you can learn some of those moves or some of those exercises, then when you come to the class, you have more confidence to just do it without having to kind of always be checking and listening for instruction. So there's an element of that. And then there's an element of me bringing new choreography, just so it, it just keeps things moving, diversifies it. And I have to organize this and plan it and practice it and get it in my mind and remember all these moves. Because what happens with everyone when they're doing a presentation or a class, well, the majority of people are going to get nerves. And when you start getting nervous, it becomes harder to access your memory. It's not because you don't know your music, you don't know your moves. It's just that kind of, you get into this state where you panic and it's internal and everything gets kind of locked off. And that's why preparation is so important, because if you wake up on the day of your class and you think, what am I doing? You've got a mad dash to make sure you pull something together. So being prepared means that when you wake up on the day, whether you're nervous or not, you don't have to rely on that connection with your memory. You can just switch on your class and, oh yeah, I choreographed this, that and the other. So there's a lot of planning for me to do free classes. And then obviously when I work with people one-to-one, I plan all of those classes as well. So, I really have to think about who my client is, what they want to achieve, what suits them, what doesn't suit them, what's going to improve their situation or what's going to get them close to their goals, and remove things that are holding them back from those goals. So, I don't remove them. We discuss and we talk about things and we change things. Anyway, so I'm kind of giving you a view of what I do to prepare for classes. So, I don't just turn up. There's a lot of consideration going into it. So when I put on free classes, I'm really happy to bring fitness to an audience, especially, people who are not too sure what they want to do, so they'd like to try it first. And I bring all my energy. I work really hard. It doesn't matter whether it's free or it's paid. You get the best that I can offer you. So let me get into the story then, I suppose. So long story short, I'd put up 4 free classes over the course of a month so people could join. I'll talk about workshops in a minute, because I also run workshops, but I haven't actually to date had any incidents with workshops. I've found that when people are attending my workshops, they lifestyle, motivation. I do things on decluttering and organizing in terms of sentimental items, all sorts of different things. And I also do a lot of mental health awareness and raising awareness about PTSD. So there's a lot of stuff that I get involved in and that I put out. And I'm happy to do that. But, okay, I've just lost I've tripped myself over. Anyway, let's carry on. It doesn't matter what I was saying before. The point is, basically I've put on workshops in that nature and I've never had an issue to date. So in this instance, we're looking at my fitness because I've just had 2 issues in a row. Okay, so the first 2 weeks of fitness, they were great. I had people from different parts of the world. Some people came for 5 minutes. Some people came for the full 40 minutes. Some people spoke to me. Some people, they quietly did their thing and then they left. And for me, it was great fun because, at the moment we're on lockdown in London. So it's not like we're not even allowed to train people in the park anymore. So my ideal scenario is training people outside in green spaces. So we're not even allowed to do that anymore. So I really am in a situation where I'm at home and I want to be able to bring exercise to people, and I want to be doing it myself. And so the first 2 weeks are great. You know, it's fulfilling both sides. I had some really great people coming. They were having a good time. They told me the various reasons that they were there. And, it really was a very fulfilling thing for me as well, just to be able to like practice, what I preach, and not just be waiting and waiting for my opportunity to get outside, when actually I can, home workout is amazing, and it's taking control of your workout as well. So that you are not restricted to environment. You can do your workout whenever you want to. Okay, let's stay. So 2 weeks, fantastic. Week 3, now this was a little bit of a concern for me. Okay, so week 3, I had a lot of people signed up, and a lot of people don't turn up for various reasons, and that's fine. And I just hope they'll sign on again at another point and actually come and see if it's for them, because there's obviously a motivation there. There's obviously something that they're looking for. So, I would love to have the opportunity to meet them and show them, some of the things that I do, which are great for mental health and physical health. But on this particular evening, I had a few people coming and going. I had one person who's a regular, and I'm so grateful she was there. I say regular in the sense that she came every week and she did the whole workout from beginning to end. So I actually felt really grateful for her. And I really respected her opinion and her feedback, because I knew that she was someone who was putting in the time. She told me that she was enjoying what she was doing. She was happy with all the different arrangements of exercises and moves. And she said it was keeping her warm where she was living in a really cold place. So that made me feel fantastic. And I was so grateful that she was there, because that felt like, when you're running a class and you've got someone who regularly comes, and, it's all great positive vibes. But then someone else joined the class who I hadn't met before. And actually they came a bit early. And so I met them before the class started. And what I say to people is, what I say to anyone that comes until now, you'll find out why. Feel free, you can put your camera on. We're in a group scenario, so I can't really direct you because I'm kind of keeping the momentum for different people. So I can't focus on you. But, if you've got your camera on, I might be able to say, I might shout out an instruction that's actually quite relevant to you because I've spotted something. So I say, if you're comfortable and that's what you want, you can turn your camera on to do your exercise, or otherwise leave it off and, just watch me. So that was working absolutely fine. And actually everybody chose not to use their cameras. But on this 3rd week, this particular participant decided to turn on the camera. And talking to them, I had a chat with them before the class started. They were very sweet, very, okay, are we doing this? Are we doing that? Okay, fine, all right, they're, very kind of gentle nature. But for some reason, they had chosen to turn the camera on. And from what I could see, they were wearing like a vest. So I thought it was like a vest top. And then they started fiddling around with the camera and the camera angles, and they were in a really small space. So I was like, okay, fine, they're sorting out the camera angle, which could have been the case the whole time. Anyway, so then, other people came and I started the class. As the class got going, I kind of caught an eye of what this person was wearing. And they stood up and they were wearing just like Y fronts, and they were wearing a vest, and they were doing the exercise in their bedroom. So it was a small space, and they had the camera on the floor kind of facing up off the floor, which to be honest, so let me talk about camera angles with you guys. Whether you're a fitness instructor or a participant or a client or anyone, in terms of camera angles, the best way to be able to see your body for fitness, ideally, is if you have the camera slightly facing down. So I'm not talking hovering above you like a bird. What I'm talking about is if you're, for instance, the way I set up my class is I'll take the camera and I'll put it up here. And so then I'm facing it slightly like that. So it's catching my whole body. But what I would never do, and I have seen instructors do it, and that was in training though. So, you know, it might just have been their preference, but I don't advise it. But because it was training, you know, we want to see legs, we want to see arms. So I think at that time we were focusing on legs. So it might have been that, but I just don't do this. But some people put it on the floor looking up and they're like, well, you can see the whole body. There's an issue with this, especially depending on what you're wearing. So if you're wearing Y fronts and you're wearing a vest, and then I'm telling you to do like moves, do this move and this move, and you're turning your body and you're moving really quickly, if you're moving quite quickly and your material is not keeping up with your body because of the movement, I don't know if you can see where I'm going with this, but you know, you're not safe. You're not covered. So if you've got the camera on the floor and my vision is of up here and I'm effectively nearly licking up your underwear, you know, and the thing that was concerning is I don't know if the participant was looking at themselves on screen or if they were just looking at me. And so they may not have been thinking about what they looked like on screen, but the fact they kept angling the camera made me think that they must have known, because you wouldn't bother changing the camera angle, you just keep going, wouldn't you? So I was like, I don't know if I saw what I think I saw. So I just kind of didn't want to make a fuss, because I was pretty sure it was just, you know, inappropriate clothing. And I was like, no, I don't think you saw anything. So I carried on. And then we were doing, I said, right, we're doing squats. Okay, so I don't know if you've worked out yet, but the person in question was a gentleman or a man, a male, okay? I don't know about gentlemen at all, but he was a male. So whenever he was going down doing the squats, you could see, because, you know, you're a little bit shadowed, you could see, I could see everything, let's put it that way. I could see everything, and you know, women, fortunately, when we're doing squats, if you're in silhouette, it's not an issue. Men, it's an issue, okay? You really need to think about what you're wearing. So, you know, at minimum, you should be wearing shorts that, you couldn't see that, but at minimum, you should be wearing some shorts, you know? Especially, you know, just because you're training at home, it doesn't mean you're at, you know, it doesn't mean that you should be in this kind of mindset. And I'm not, by the way, I'm not talking to men here at all. I'm talking, hopefully I'm catching some people who are not, who need, you know, who think, right, I might double check what I'm wearing. Equally, hopefully I'm catching some people who are like, oh, I never thought of that. I never thought of the way, you know, other people's kind of, you see, what I'm trying to illustrate in this story is I'm not sure whether this person was completely innocent in terms of their thinking, and I couldn't work that out. And so at the time I was just like, I was almost like, what have I just seen something? When we were doing the squats, 100%, you know, silhouette, it wasn't lying. And as a female instructor, and I'm sure as a male instructor as well, you know, it's not very nice. As a male instructor, you may think, oh no, just sort it out. And you might even feel quite comfortable to say that, like, mate, can you just, but for me, I didn't feel comfortable, and I didn't want to make a deal out of something that I was wrong about, or I And I didn't want to make the other people feel uncomfortable. I didn't, because if they've got me spotlighted, they don't know what's going on. But if they haven't, what if they're affected by it as well? Anyway, I'm pretty sure later on, you know, I was teaching a really fast dance track. So we were kind of like arms in the air, and we were like, you know, spinning in the room and everything. So I can't just watch the camera, because I need to know if I'm going to do a spin, I need to have points where I look for the spin to make sure I do it in a straight line. You know, so I'm not completely looking at the camera the whole time. But when I started looking, I actually stood still at one point, because I'm pretty sure he came out of his pants. And I'm telling you this, I don't mind you if you're laughing at the moment, because I'll tell you what happened. So, I mean, this is also what's quite strange. So at the end of the class, I spoke to my female participant, and I was just like, you know, she sounded happy. She was happy with the class. You know, she was like, oh, you've warmed me up. And I was just like, oh, amazing. You warmed me up as well. She really did. And she didn't say anything, and the male stayed around, so maybe she didn't say anything for that reason. But what happened was, you know, and I actually said to the male, yeah, you know, I was actually saying in general, you know, so next week's the last week, we're doing a free class, you know, it's week 4, it's the last one, so if you're coming, that would be amazing. And he said, oh, it's next week as well. Now, I'm not going to go any further, but next week, what happens next week? No, okay, first of all, let me tell you this. So, okay, let me tell you the kind of mindset I was in after it happened. And I'll tell you as well, actually, you might say, well, why didn't you use your controls? Well, what happened was once I'm pretty sure, you know, we got to a stage where he wasn't in his underwear, like he was kind of coming loose. I thought, I can't have this. I need to get the cameras off. I need to turn the videos off. And I was actually going to say, right, we need to turn videos off. And then I thought, oh gosh, no. So I came over to the screen, and I was trying to fiddle, like looking for where I could see where I could turn me off, but I was looking to see where I could turn off, you know, participants. And I didn't find it in time. And I was like, you know, we were in a high energy track, so I didn't want people to lose their heat and, you know, like get kind of faint because they've gone from this to nothing while I'm like fiddling. So I was just like, oh, so I just kind of got through the class, and yeah, I had a chat with everyone at the end, and I chatted to my female participant, and she sounded very happy. Anyway, okay, so week 3, and I was like, oh gosh, okay, so I need to know my controls. I need to know what to do if this happens again. I need to be able to shut it down. So I had a look, and really I need to log in, I think, with a friend. And this is what I'd advise you to do. Find a friend and just have a play around with your settings and say, right, have I switched you off now? Have I made this private? Can you hear me? Can you see me? All that kind of stuff, and just get familiar with it, because once you're under pressure and you're doing a workshop or you're doing a class, all of a sudden it's just like, where's the controls? What am I doing? I don't remember anything. I don't know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? So you do have to think, you know, what can I do so that when I get into that state, I've got my resources there to pull on, and I'm not just thinking like off the top of my head. So I think that's a good idea, actually, to go through it with a friend. But yeah, so I was like, okay, I need to know my controls, and I need to know them so I can use them under pressure. So, okay. Oh yeah, that's what I was going to tell you, the funny thing. So after the class, I was a bit confused. I was like, what happened? What was that? Were my eyes assaulted there, or am I just imagining it? And so I said to my brother, what's the worst thing that can happen to a female instructor when she's teaching a male? And he said, I won't say it quite how it was, but he said, oh yeah, junk falls out. And I was just like, yeah. He's like, it didn't. I was like, it did. And then I was talking to my friend, he's a coach. And And I said to him, I said, guess what happened? He was like, oh my gosh. And we laughed, like we laughed so much. He thought it was a funny story. And I actually thought, you know what? It's kind of a funny story. You know, I'm teaching this guy and he's in his pants and I'm already a bit like, oh gosh. And then his junk falls out. You know, it was like, okay. And as far as I was concerned, I was like, this guy seemed really innocent. He seemed really clumsy in terms of maybe he didn't know socially what was appropriate. Maybe I should have said something, you know, but I'm not in a situation where I can say, all right, let me pull you over to the side and have a word. You know, if I was in class, I would have gone, come here, mate, look, your shorts are too short. I would do that. Like, don't think if you come to my class and you come to my studio in physical studio and you're in my space and you come in and you're jumping around and I see that, I would never stop the class and just shout it out. I would never do that to anyone, because as I'm kind of illustrating, you don't know whether someone's slightly socially awkward or whether someone's doing it on purpose and they're trying to get a kick out of it. But, you know, it just seemed like quite a socially awkward situation. So if he was actually in my class, in my studio, I'd be like, oh, and I'd take him out, I'd be like, come and check out the music, or I'd walk him over to the sound system and I'd just be like, look, mate, just to let you know, you're flashing at me. You know, we've got a group of women in here as well as men, like, you know, can you like either stop doing those moves or can you like put some more clothes on? And please don't wear that again next week. But, you know, I'd never make a deal out of it. But when you're in a Zoom room, for example, like, what do you do? All right, guys, can you just all like stop listening? And I'm just going to talk to him. I mean, I'm sure I could send him a private message, but what you have to kind of take into account is that I'm teaching a physical lesson. I'm moving, I'm talking. I'm not there sitting there typing to people. I'm trying to I've got your heart rate up and your breathing up. I'm not going to then just have a little chat. So, you know, it is a different scenario. And even if you think you're the boldest person, believe me, when you're trying to keep a group of people happy, you know, you do kind of then start to think, how do I manage this? Okay, so let me tell you about the final week. And this for me, you know, okay, so I was quite excited because I'd spoken to my female participant the week before, and, you know, she'd really made me feel good. And she told me how what I was doing was beneficial to her and how she was having fun. So I was just like, you know, this is going to be great. So I put together this playlist and it was lively. It was really great music. Again, it's different every week, so I do change things up, but I put some of what I'd consider our main tracks in, and then I mix some other stuff. And, you know, I'm like a little DJ. Like, I don't just go, that song, that song, that song. I actually think, right, I want to take you up. I want to keep you up. I want to take you down. I want to chill you out. I want to cool you down. Like, you know, so I have to think about the way I interpret music. I interpret in a few ways, but one is through heart rate. So, you know, if, for example, I'm anxious, I'm more likely to put on music which is bouncy and maybe kind of like a hard house beat, because it drills into my heart like that. Like, because my heart's like da 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 da, and the music's like da 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 da, and then I'll slowly take it down into, you know, maybe house, into dance, into funky stuff. And so, you know, there's kind of, and I kind of relax with it. I kind of go down with it. And I think just because music is something that's so important to me, it's something that I use as protection when I'm outside. Because with PTSD, I have hypersensitivity. So all my senses are super alert. So I always have music in and it makes me feel safe. And it kind of drowns out some of the things that I really don't need to, you know, hear, that are going to make me question, what's that? You know, it's like, it was a drill, it was a door. Music, don't even ask these questions. So music can be a lifesaver. Sorry, I'm have to keep rearranging it. But music can be a real lifesaver. So it is something that I prepare. So I had everything set up for Saturday. I was really excited. I don't just turn on the camera. I have to set up the room. So the room isn't my studio anymore. It's actually, it's a room where I need to move furniture. I need to move different items. And as we all know from the art world, okay, as I remember from the art world, working with artworks, working with objects, working with other people's loaned items as well, you have to be so vigilant. And the less handling you do, really, the better. So when I used to ship artworks around the world to clients and exhibitions, I used to plan out the best route that I could. Obviously, we wanted cost effective, and that's really important. But what was really important to me, and so I'd get two types of quotes. I'd get a cost effective quote, but I would also think about the artwork. I don't want it to be offloaded here, loaded there, transferred there, dropped here, trucked there, and delivered. If I could get it to go 1, 2, delivered, because that's lots of hands, that's lots of movement. Why am I talking about the art world? I don't know. This is what happens. I'm actually going to start, maybe getting some people into to do some little chats with, and so but when you're on your own and then you go off on a tangent, you're like, wow, okay, we're talking about the art world and shipping. Oh yeah, I know why. So I'm thinking about, I'm moving furniture, I'm moving pieces of artwork. There's actually a painting that I move quite regularly, and the more handling, it would be in the best interest of those objects not to be moved. So, I'm setting up a situation so that I can get around the fact that I can't come to you live in your home or in your gym or in your park. And so that's all set up. I'm really excited. I'm like, yeah, it's the last class. We're going to make it good. Done a little workout myself, so I was on top form. And then my first client logs in. And now I don't mind telling you about this client, because this client was different. This isn't a client, sorry, these are not clients. These are people who've signed up to a free session. Okay, so it's different. It's not a client who you're making a bespoke lesson for, and who's paying you, and who had, this was a free class. So this person logged in, and it was a male. And I knew that because I saw the name, and they had their camera on. So I was like, okay, all right, great. They've come in a bit early, they're going to have a chat with me, and then we can get started. And I can also see what they're wearing, and maybe, just make sure, because obviously you don't have to do that with guys. You really don't. But I just had an experience the week before. So I was like, you know what? I'll just check it out, see what the setup is. Had a great space, a nice big space. Zooming straight into wherever he lived. This was obviously at home or wherever he was staying. He wasn't on screen, but then I looked at the time and I was like, oh, it's nearly 7. So I said, oh, by the way, hi. We're going to start in about 2 minutes. I'm just going to see if anyone else is going to join. And I saw this person, their head kind of moved to the side. So it was literally like, oh, I'm not going to do it for you. I don't want to scare you. But it was literally like the camera's looking out, like the camera's looking at me. And it's like they came to the screen from the side here. I just literally saw a touch of their face and their hair. So I was like, oh, okay, so it's a guy. They're obviously here. They had their mobile phone out. They had their mobile phone. So I was like, okay. And the person just went, yeah, okay. Like, fine, we'll start in a minute. So I was like, all right, fine. So they never came on camera. So I was like, okay, they're obviously just getting ready. And so I was a bit thirsty and I thought, well, I'll wait and see if anyone comes. So I'm going to go and get a drink. So I quickly left the room. I left my camera on. It was just showing where I do the class, which is in the photographs that are online as well. Like, you know, the images on my website and everywhere else. So yeah, I went to the fridge and I got a drink, and I came back and I saw that the person again was kind of just looking to see if I was there. And so I was like, oh, right, they're obviously ready to start. So I came on, and my female from the previous weeks wasn't there. She didn't come. And I was just like, I thought, oh no, I feel really concerned that it's because of what happened with the guy last week. And, you know, and not necessarily because she was like, oh, well, I don't need to do fitness this week. It might have been more the incident, and she's like, oh, you know, I don't want to get involved in that again. It's one last class kind of thing. Which for me is quite upsetting, because it's like, I wanted to reach her. I do not want to reach people who are not taking it seriously, who didn't come back the following week, and who acted, whether intentionally or not, really inappropriately in my class. I felt really upset that she wasn't there, but I thought, you know, okay, I've got this person to teach, they've got their camera on, great, let's just do a one-to-one. And then if people come in, you know, they'll go small thing and it'll be fine. So I saw this person was looking at their screen, like kind of just looking around the corner at their screen, and I walked in the room with my drink. So I was like, okay, let's get started. And literally, this man, he was off screen, and he just started walking across screen. You couldn't see his head, but you could see his whole body. And he was completely naked, completely, absolutely nothing on. And this didn't make me laugh at all. The guy from the week before was I'd say he was probably younger than me. And I almost felt like, you know, like I didn't want to I felt like he was a sensitive soul. But this was different. This was completely different. This was planned. This was like someone had literally found my advert. They'd logged into my they'd signed up for my class, because I don't just put access details online. You can't just go to a link and join. You actually have to go through the event that I put up. So you have to find the event. You have to sign up. You know, you put your details in, and then that gets sent to me. And then I will send you the login details on the day of the class. So for workshops, I might send it earlier than that, but with fitness, I send it on the day. I send it, say, an hour or two before. And so if you've gone through those steps, you know, one would assume that you at least are interested in doing fitness. And one would also question why you would be looking at a fitness class to do this kind of stuff when there's so many like places out there for you to get kicks like that. But then I suppose this person was looking for the natural, you know, the real reaction. They weren't looking for like paid porn. They weren't looking for someone who's been bribed to do something for them. They were looking for like, I mean, I don't know what reaction he expected from me, but I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna reenact my reaction if you like. Okay. So he strayed across the screen, and I'd already seen bits of him. I've seen all of him now. I'd already seen bits of him, so I would place him probably in his 60s. And I would say that, I mean, it was very calculated. You know, the way it was set up, the way he didn't appear on screen, like he tried not to show, you know, when he strode past, literally, I can show you, like, let me give you an example. Okay, so I'm not going to be small enough, so I'm just going to show you. That's where it cut off, okay? So that's where it cut off, so there was no face. And in terms of body, it cut off around the knees. Okay, so we're literally talking, because I don't want to move the camera and I don't want to like take you on a road just to show you what this perverted man did to me last weekend. I just want to basically tell you so that we can kind of, you know, think about safeguarding ourselves, whether we are a participant or a host. But for me, it really is my responsibility as the host to know how to safeguard people who are in my class. You know, this was a free class and it was unfortunate, but if you've paid to join my class, and someone like that turns up, and they may well pay for it, you know, they might be happy to pay for it just to have that shock value or whatever it is they're looking for. You know, I will safeguard you. You know, I will make sure that I turn these people off, I kick them out, and that they're never coming back. I mean, these people go on a blacklist. Like, I don't just say, oh, that was a horrible experience. I put them on a list. And the way that you get onto that list is you come to my class naked, you abuse my trust, you abuse other people's trust as well. If you're derogatory, you know, that's how you make the list. You don't make the list because we didn't get on, or because you're a bit difficult, or because, you know, I've got PTSD. We're pretty like, you know, like, I remember doing a body conditioning class and I said to the lady, I've got PTSD, and she was like, oh, okay. And then she found out why I told her that, because I was doing the body conditioning. And, you know, I was very affected by the music and also the stretching. And so for me, and the reason why I teach bouncy, happy music, and I teach like house music and dance music and things, is because when I'm stretching out to that kind of music, it makes me feel good. It makes me feel inspired. But she had on some like really kind of like what was quite emotive music for me. And I was just lying, I was like crying and like, oh. You know, and a fitness instructor, it's not a great feedback for them if you're crying through their class. And I knew there was a potential, so I told her. So then she was like, I get it. So, you know, you're not crying because I'm not doing a good job. You're having a reaction because you've got trauma, and it's kind of, you know, it's being triggered. And, you know, no one else noticed because we're all lying on the floor doing stretches, doing this, doing that, blah, blah. But she saw it because she's above walking around. So, you know, it's not like I was upsetting anyone else or distracting the class, but she was looking from above. So, you know, to tell her that, you know, I think it was, you know, it's important. So believe me, like, I understand you might come to a class and you burst out into tears. And then we find out it's because you were doing stretching, and the stretching unlocks some tension for you. But it also kind of, you know, I don't know, there was just something about it that just made you feel emotional. And what's exciting is that the fitness has brought that out of you. And we need to process emotions, not bottle emotions. So, you know, that's a really interesting reaction. But it's also important to know, you know, what kind of, so I guess what I'm saying is the only way you get on the blacklist is if you actually do something really bad. Okay, or the red list, or yeah. Do we have any other lists? No, we have the blacklist, and that's just literally like, no. No, the red list is if the red list is if you're doing free fitness when you're not meant to be. That's the red list. Anyway, I should get back to it. I was going to tell you my reaction about the guy and what happened. So this is how I handled it the second time, okay? Now, there was no one in the room, so I didn't turn the camera off. Although, to be honest, I was so shocked. I was so shocked that I don't know if I would have found the controls. But this is what I did. So I came on screen and I pulled the laptop down because I was going to actually try and just exit. And then I thought, no, you can't exit the room because if anyone else comes, then you're gone. Although at this point, I didn't think I was going to be able to teach class anyway because I'd frozen. So it would have been hard to do the class, because I get flashbacks of images, you know, they repeat on me. So, you know, it would have been challenging. So, okay, so he did his thing. He paraded across the room naked. And I said this, I said, hey, if you want to do this fitness class, you need to put some clothes on. And then something in my mind said, what are you talking about? And I said, actually, I don't know if you've read my bio, but I've got PTSD. And I want you to leave this room now before I kick you out. And he quickly exited and he left. And then he went on to the event site where he had obviously signed up, and he cancelled his order. And I was just literally like, you know, and you know, like I told you the last one, you know, we had a bit of a laugh. I told some of the boys, and they're like, oh my gosh, you know, they're just embarrassed that shit goes, that stuff happens. I'm so sorry. Oh well, that happens too. This is not, I don't speak to, I speak to adults anyway, so I just hope I haven't offended any adults. Okay, but the point is, you know, we had a laugh about that, but this one was different. This really affected me. The other one affected me a bit. I got a bit depressed that week, but then I saw one of my regular clients. He's amazing. He made me feel great. He's a male, fantastic, love our sessions. We do so much great exercise, so much amazing music. He made me feel fantastic. You know, he told me, you know, oh, I'm really enjoying our sessions. And I was like, yes, you know, because so do I. I love doing our choreography, putting the music together. And he tries all sorts of new things, as well as doing things that he's familiar with. So it was great. And then, you know, obviously I had my female participant when what happened. So, you know, I was also, you know, I had her, and it was a different scenario. It wasn't like, you know, maybe if I'd been one-to-one with him, I would have said, look, dude, like, I would have said, look, dude, I just got you to do a squat and I saw everything and I don't want to. But with this one, it was different. It was like, you know, and it did depress me. It got me down. But then I saw my client, the male client, before lesson 4. So he kind of reaffirmed me again. So I told you a while ago now that when I was setting up for the last week, the 4th session, I was really excited. And having seen my client on the Friday, he had really boosted that, because I was like, I had an unfortunate situation, but, you know, it's fine. But after this one, you know, with the naked man, completely naked, did I see something or didn't I? After that situation, I turned off my computer and I just burst into tears. And I was just so devastated. I literally was like, why are they doing this to me? What about my advert? What about my picture? What about my, you know, exercise? Is it that they think that, what reaction do they want? Did that guy want me to go, excuse me, I've got trauma? Or did he want me to just go, oh my gosh? Do you know what? I think about it now. When I think about it, he had a phone and he had his laptop or whatever it was set up, which was facing me, so I could see that. I saw his phone to the side at one point. Now, I don't know if he was watching from both devices or if he was able to see whether I was on screen by way of angling his phone, or whether he was filming it and he wanted my reaction to be, oh my God, blah, blah, you know, but not say, I've got trauma, like I've got PTSD. Because if you put that out, you know, that's a message to anyone who's trying to abuse people's trust online. You know, you've just found someone who's got trauma. You've just added to their trauma. You've triggered something. He completely triggered something in me that, you know, that I've had to really, like, something that I've been kind of, that's been simmering for me in the last year, but that has really been coming to the surface lately. And situations like that really made it really, you know, kind of like changed it from fragments of memories to becoming quite distinct. And it was just like, you know, so that was a really triggering situation. And as I said, you know, I didn't just turn off and say, oh, what a creep. I actually said, oh my God, what's wrong with me? What is it about my picture? What is it about my text? What is it that says, come and abuse me? You know what I mean? Or come and, you know, take the mick out of me doing free fitness that might be beneficial to someone for mental health. It might be beneficial for people with Raynaud's, which is something that I talk about as well. You know, it might be beneficial for someone who is feeling really lonely. And after that, I was just like, I don't want to do fitness. I don't want to do anything online anymore. And I actually came out and I said to my brother, I'm not doing this anymore. He was just like, no, this is just one person. Like, no, you know, and I was like, yeah, but I don't want to put myself in the firing line, you know, because when you're working in an office and you've got an HR department, you go to HR, you go, oh my God, this customer came into the building and they took their clothes off, and you're like, right, you know, and I mean, to be honest though, I suppose in any situation, and I've worked in the arts, and it does attract some really interesting people in terms of what they think is appropriate. You know, so there's only so much you can do to stop yourself encountering these people. So, but there is something you can do about limiting your time with them and getting away from them, or blocking them, or shutting them down. But this really made me question myself, and I went back and I looked at everything. So let me take you through the process. So this is what happened after this guy. So let me see if I can share this with you. Yeah, I should be able to. Okay, so here's All Silver Clouds website. Okay, so I work for All Silver Clouds. We do lifestyle and fitness. So the lifestyle is in terms of decluttering and organizing, which I mentioned earlier. And the fitness is in terms of doing group exercise and one-to-one training. And then holistic coaching is kind of a mixture of both. Because, you know, if you're coming to see me as a coach, you may be going through depression, you may be going through trauma, a bereavement, and it may be that you need some of the techniques from both sides. So that's what that's all about. I just wanted to explain that while we're on the page. No, but so this is what happened. So after that guy, oh, actually, I'm on the wrong page. It's not the website I want. It's the advert. But okay, I've got an advert which is really similar up here so that you can see. So this will tell you. So I went back to my advert and I was like, oh my gosh, what did I write? Did I encourage this? It's a bit like, you know, the nonsense about, oh, but she was wearing a short skirt. I mean, it absolutely disgusts me when, you know, when people say, oh, well, she got attacked. Oh, well, what was she wearing? What time of night was it? And it's like, no, there was an absolute creep outside who just took advantage of someone. There's nothing to do with what they were wearing. It takes a certain kind of person to do that. Or it takes a person who's been exposed to certain environments to cross that kind of boundary. It's not just an everyday person. So it's got nothing to do with what you're wearing. It's got nothing to do with how you pose in your fitness outfit. You know what I mean? You don't deserve this. You don't deserve this nonsense. But this is what it's brought me to do. Okay, so what pictures did I have up online? I had these pictures. So I had that one, and that one. That was my advert, okay? So it's just showing that doing an exercise move, it's showing doing a dance move, and it's showing doing like weights and mat work, you know? Nothing else. And this was what the text, this is pretty much the same text, or it might well be the same text. Well, no, it isn't, because I'm not talking about free classes here. This is about working with me. Do you know what? It might actually be easier to just read to you what I have on the website, on the event page. Okay, so let me just get it up, because, you know, it just made me question everything. I was just like, what have I done wrong? How did I provoke this? And the reality is I didn't. Someone was stalking these adverts, looking for people. And they were either looking for shock value, or maybe he thought that I might go, oh, this is fun. But considering it was group exercise and there was meant to be other people there, you know, what do you think I was going to let like a group of people in and then allow someone to strut around naked? It's just not going to happen. Okay, so let me read you the text. Okay, but let me turn it around so you can... No, it's not. Okay. Well, anyway, you've seen the pictures. So this is the pictures we're dealing with. This is the person who's speaking to you. Okay, there we go. All right. So this is what I wrote. Oh no, it's an old event. Events. It's going to old events. Yeah. There we go. Because this is a new one. I'm looking at the current one. It's going to an old one, which is the one he would have found. Okay, so what do you do? Publish past. Here we go, past events. Fantastic, we're there, I promise. Okay, so I'm doing this, guys, because I just needed to talk about this and be like, is it me? Is it me? You know what I mean? Okay. Oh, this is perfect. Will it give me the page? No, okay. All right, let's just go to the details. Right. Okay, so this is what it says. It says, do you want to have fun with fitness, manage anxiety, or get in shape or stay fit? I offer private exercise sessions online. I specialize in overall body conditioning, including weights and strength exercise, dance cardio, and anxiety disorder rehabilitation. Just want to make that prominent. Whether you'd like to get a new exercise routine going, set out fitness goals for the year, or enjoy exercise for mental and physical relief from anxiety, drop me a line. Each Saturday at 7 till 7:40 from the 23rd of January to the 13th of February, so that's four Saturdays, I'm running a free open studio to provide you with 4 free workout sessions with me. Come and join me for stretching, cardio, and a relaxing cool down. Please book here. So then I've put, it takes 21 days to build a habit. In 3 to 4 weeks, you'll be feeling the benefit of weekly fitness with me. Otherwise, my online studio is open from 9 till 11 daily to book one-to-one sessions. So private sessions, just me and you know, whatever you want, right? So that's the advert. I'm sorry it took a while, but I had to go back and read that and look at these photos. I looked at these photos and I thought, what did you do? What did you do? Do you know what I mean? I was like, what have you done wrong? How did you attract that? And do you know what the answer is? I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything to attract that. That wasn't my fault. And I shouldn't have been exposed to it, but that's the nature of life. You know, people come into your life and they do things that shock you and frighten you, and you deal with it. You get away from these situations as quickly, as painlessly, and as cleanly as possible. But, you know, after that, I was so depressed. I actually had a week of complete depression, and I didn't do any fitness. So I don't do fitness classes every day. It's not like I do like hours of routines every day. What I do is I'll do some days where I do my routines and I love it, because I just love it anyway. It's not like I'm teaching something that, it's not, I'm teaching you things that I love, or I'm teaching, people that come to my classes things that I enjoy and that I totally, I'm not saying, oh, why don't you try this? It's a trend. I'm actually saying, look, I do this every day. It's the thing that keeps me in check. But because I got so depressed, and I think the problem was, normally I go to fitness to deal with that. But I stopped kind of hopping around, and I felt really low mood. And it's because that happened in my fitness class, in my virtual studio. It's not like it happened doing the thing that I enjoy, the thing that I do to take my mind off, the PTSD symptoms, and rehabilitate from them as well, because over time you rehabilitate. I'm not saying, anyway, whatever. That's for another video. But I suppose the point I'm making is that this person had come into that space, which not only is my profession, but it's actually also the thing that I use in private. And it's really important to me. And that was affecting my mental health. It also made me feel really guilty, because I thought, what if that woman was affected by that guy the other week? What if the lady that stayed behind, what if it was really actually a challenging experience for her? What if I've just lost, someone really great to work out with because of someone taking the mick? So, I just wanted to share this with you because A, it's one way of processing it, and B, I think it's really important to kind of, talk about these things. So, hang on a second. I've basically told you what's happened to me. Sorry, I'm just making sure the laptop's closed. That's my story. That's what's happened to me lately. And I can't say it's happened in a workshop so far. Can't say anyone's invaded a workshop before, but you know what? It's really important to be able to safeguard yourself. So if you're a participant, you can press end and you can leave. If you're a host, you can't do that because you're ending the whole session for everybody. So what I'd advise, and what I've done myself, and what I need to do regularly to make sure I remember, in case I don't use those controls for a while, is to find how you block people, find how you kick people out of rooms, find out how you turn the cameras off, find out how you turn the volume off. And I'm not just saying, oh, I've seen a button. I'm saying do it, do the process. And so that then when you are in the situation, it's automatic. It wasn't automatic for me the first time, and I really wished it had been. And in terms of the second time, well, it was just me and that participant. Had someone else joined, it could have been two of us who were traumatized, and I wasn't traumatized by that. It brought up trauma, it triggered trauma. So, I was just like, this is outrageous. So it's really important to know your controls and know them to the point that if you're in a panic, you still know how to activate them. I think the next thing you need to do is think about what you're saying online. Think about how much you want to talk about. So I'm making reference to trauma from time to time, but I'm not telling you ins and outs. I'm not telling you what was what, how this happened, what the cause was, because, it's, first of all, this isn't the forum. So you need to think about, are you in the right forum? And secondly, you need to think about when you put something out there, especially if it's been recorded, will I look around later and say, oh my gosh, why did I share so much? So I do think you have to be kind of aware of that, and be aware that people do get, there are people out there who do get a bit overly interested in you, if you know what I mean. So you know, it's just knowing how to spot that and knowing how to take a step back. And especially on the mental health side, you know, people who have a mental health condition, for us doing fitness, it's really important for us. And it's also a joy to be able to share it with other people. But we need to be safe. We need to be safe. We don't want to be re-traumatized. We don't want to be triggered. And there's a lot of cases now as well with children going online, children going on to places which are designed for them, apps, you know, different places where it's designed for them. And you've got people infiltrating it and trying to take advantage of children and trying to take advantage of parents who in really good faith have, you know, they've got something that's designed for their child. You know, it's not, they haven't put their child in front of a rated 18, you know, computer game. They've given their child something which is age appropriate, and it's being invaded by people who have like disgusting intentions. And that happens everywhere, like, you know, and I think the reason why, you know, I'm taking it more seriously, like not more seriously, but I'm taking it more seriously than ever before, is because that really affected me. I lost a week of my life to that, you know, and I was just so depressed. And you know what brought me out of it? I'll tell you what fixed me. I saw my client who I told you about earlier, and I did a fitness class with him, and it was amazing. Great time, great music, great conversation. Really, really enjoyed it. I mean, I'm really blessed in that sense. And he restored it for me. He made me remember what it, and it's only been a week, you know, since I'd seen him. But it was the next day that incident happened. And that lasted, that like reverberated with me all week. And so like 6 days later, I see my client, and I was like, this is why I teach fitness. You know, we have a great time, great energy. We work out as well. We're both, I do it all with him as well. You know, so we're both like on this kind of, yeah, you know, obviously as a fitness instructor, I keep an eye on if I'm one-to-one with someone, I'm keeping an eye on what they're doing. I'm watching them, I'm correcting posture, all of that stuff, because I can see you, I can tell, move here, do this, do that. You know, when I've got 7 people, 10 people, you know, I can't say, all right, guys, you keep moving, right? You do this, you do that. You know, it kind of ruins energy. It's not, you know, and it doesn't work. Not for me. I'm not, other people and other classes, you know, it might work really well, but it doesn't work in my format. So it was seeing my client and having a private class and having a fantastic time that restored me, and it made me feel like, you know, today I was hopping about again, and I'm here talking to you, and I'm you know, I'm ready for it now. And I put that down to, when you have great clients, they benefit from what you're teaching them. You know, they enjoy it. It's making a change, and it makes me feel like valid as an instructor. You know, I'm doing my job, I'm doing my thing. And it also makes me feel valid as someone who went on this path to help, like, bring, you know, to bring this to people, to connect them with movement and exercise, especially, you know, if it's something that they hadn't been doing for a while and it's not something they're really associating as something they want to do. This is what motivates me. People who have got illnesses, that it makes them feel like, it gives them different sensations and feelings and emotions, you know, like happiness, joy, excitement. That's why I do it. And so seeing my client literally made me feel renewed, restored. And what it's also done is it's made me think, yeah, I'm going to protect myself. So, you know, as I've highlighted, those are the things that you can do. Don't think, oh no, I can't do it anymore, like I did, because the conclusion is you can do it. You just, you know. So I guess what I want to say is, okay, so know your controls. as a host, think about it, we're the security in our room, especially in a group environment. So if you have a big, say, YouTube channel, people have moderators. And that means that while they're presenting and they're doing their thing, they don't have to keep stopping and monitoring everything. And their moderators will sit through and go, well, not having that on here. You know, they have a set of principles or a philosophy about the room, you know, like this is how we're going to behave in this room. And so the moderators, when they see the hint of people, you know, disrupting that, they're like switch off, or block or bar or whatever, or they will delete the message. When you're teaching 10 people, 15 people, and that's my capacity normally, a presentation, it could be 30 people, 40 people, 100 people, but then it's strictly cameras off, videos off, and it's just me, you know. But in terms of teaching interactive, probably the most I do is about 10. Because, you know, that means then you're coming to hear me. There's no opportunity for people to be coming on camera and doing strange things. And there's nothing to see, there's nothing to hear. But obviously, you know, when it's a group participation thing, you know, it's really important. So I am the security, I am the host, it's my house. So, and if you're the host, we need to kick these people out. And we need to do it quickly and quietly. And so we don't disrupt everyone else. So I guess what was the last thing I wanted to talk about? So we've kind of talked about boundaries. So there's your boundaries or your philosophy or your rules for the room. We're the same on Facebook. If you set up a Facebook group, you set up like kind of like terms and conditions of you joining this group. If you're going to join this group, you're not going to be abusive. You're not going to be, you know, stereotyping, being derogatory, all that kind of stuff. So, you know, and I just think, yeah, if you have a bad situation like this, just rest assured, when you see your next genuine client, when you see the next person who really does actually want from you what you're actually offering in terms of learning and sharing, then they will make it all worth it. They'll make it, you know, it'll remind you why you do all of this. Okay, I think that's it. I've talked for ages, as usual. But I think it's really important. And I'm not sharing it to you with like loads of high security rules and like, let's look at this, let's look at that. And, you know, there's plenty of people out there who do actually, if you're not sure about your Zoom controls, if you're not sure about your Discord controls, your YouTube controls, if you're not sure about your Facebook group, there's so many videos out there which are actually made by the websites themselves. So Zoom and YouTube, you can go and consult with them, and you can go and look at their regulations and guidelines. So it's there for you. So I felt like I won't take you through all of that. I just kind of give you a personal experience, so that if you're kind of sitting on the edge of your seat going, I might look into that, then maybe this will prompt you, because it really did affect me quite deeply. But, you know, obviously the silver lining is this: when you get those genuine clients, when you get those genuine people who are coming for a free class because they genuinely want to take something away. And I'm happy if someone's come to a free class and not join me, you know, as an instructor, because it just might not be their vibe, and that's absolutely fine. And if they take away, I taught them something about breathing or a new stretch, fantastic. You know, that's part of what I want to do as well, awareness to fitness. But just don't take the mick. Don't come in with bad intentions. And guess what? If anyone has bad intentions from now on, I know my controls. I know my security. I have my boundaries, and you won't be staying. So just be warned. But yeah, I doubt I'm talking to people like that. I think I'm talking to lovely people who I just genuinely want you to look after yourselves. Okay then, well, take care of yourselves online. Don't be discouraged if something does happen. just think about how you can safeguard yourself and have fun. I have so much fun putting out videos, doing workshops and teaching online, doing fitness. I don't think I could have got through lockdown if that wasn't an option, to be honest. I would have gone absolutely crazy. So yeah, and with PTSD, I don't need that. So anyway, all right, guys, I'm going to leave it there, but I'll catch you soon. And I hope you join me for a presentation or for a class. And yeah, see you soon. Bye.